You remind me of all the love I could not have. You remind me of how sad I really am. You reject me, putting up the wall so high I can't even look inside. You remind me of the pain that will not leave. You restore me to insanity. You pretend that there is nothing going on within that charcoal heart. I get tired, so tired, undesired. It's dying, and know if you die, then I try to rob your grave. Can I? One more time.
That is a good question. Pretty sure you're wasting your time, but I'll answer it for you.
Why? Why do tigers eat zebra? Why do we make war on weaker nations? It's simply the way the world works, Detective Cross.
But someone as intelligent as you can't be killing all these women just because you can.
Well, you sure are following the How to Get Inside a Psycho's Head training manual, Detective. Flatter him, play to his narcissism. You're a good cop. A little heavy-handed, but good. And since this is my one shot at confessing this to you, I may as well be honest. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Right. Just tell me all of it. You've got nothing to lose now.
What were you like when you were a little boy, Vincent? Were you happy? Were your parents good to you?
The childhood question. Okay, if that's the way you want to do it. Pretty certain you'll be disappointed with my childhood, but let's go. My father taught math. My mother was a nurse. There was no abuse, physical or mental. I had a sister who was 3 years younger. She died when I was 7. There was nothing remarkable about my childhood. I didn't have any of the red flags. I didn't wet the bed or hurt small animals or start fires. I didn't hate my mother while secretly wanting to sleep with her. You see, very dull. There are no childhood memories that stand out for me.
Except one. It was a week after my 10th birthday. My parents and I were driving back home after spending a weekend at our cabin. I had this cousin. Used to impale frogs on sticks and hold them over the campfire. You want to talk about a sick bastard? What do you want to kill a frog for? That's just mean.
Me, I'm not cruel like that.
Vincent, what happened after the camping trip?
I fell asleep in the car and woke up to the sound of my father having a conversation with 2 people whose voices I didn't recognize. There'd been a head-on collision,
and the cops were redirecting traffic while they waited for an ambulance. My mother volunteered to take a look at 2 of the accident victims and try to make them comfortable. I was still lying in the back seat and pretended to be asleep. I heard one of the officers tell my mother that one of the drivers was too far gone and that she should help the other man be more comfortable. I sat up and looked out the window and saw my parents leaning into the car that was farthest away. The other car was only the distance between you and me from where we were pulled over. It barely even resembled a car. There was this woman. She was exquisite, just beautiful. She had this dark hair. Actually, she looked a little like you, Detective Cross.
Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Don't project. Don't pretend that I remind you of her. It's bullshit, and you know it.
She was covered in blood. Her body was broken, hanging out of the car. For the record, Detective, if you're interested in having me continue to talk, you will keep your criticisms and your police psychology to yourself. Otherwise, this conversation will end. Her hair was matted with blood. It was all over her face. She had this look in her eyes. We made eye contact.
I tried to look away, but I couldn't, and we held eye contact until she faded. There was one point where she mouthed the words, "Love you."
Vincent, you know that's not what happened. You know that woman didn't tell you that she loved you while she was dying. What did she really say? Was she asking for help?
I still haven't seen anything as beautiful as that woman's eyes, not before, not since. I've tried. Nothing.
You've tried what?
Nothing. Seriously. Move on. Have you ever watched someone die, Detective Cross?
Why?
I mean, really. Watched them die. Up close. I can tell just by looking in your eyes that you've never experienced it.
It is the most beautiful, intimate thing in the world to share in someone's death. To be let in.
Through their eyes, there is no deeper connection. Most people, common people, never get the opportunity to share another person's expiration. It is a gift.
That's why you
reserved
torture
for
and
them.
murder people, to share some sort of connection with them? Look. Where's the beauty in this, Vincent? And this?
You don't understand.
Help me understand. Explain to me this connection that you feel. Tell me about this one, Vincent. How beautiful was this experience for her? Or tell me about the intimacy you shared with this one while you stuck a knife through her temple. Or what about this one on the left?
No.
How much of a connection could this woman have felt?
You can't see it that way. Why are you so simple? Don't you understand that there are two kinds of people in the world?
There are, Vincent. Good and bad, Vincent. There are the people that don't hurt others, and then there are the predators like you. You're nothing but a killer. A common killer. There's nothing special about you, Vincent. You just like hurting people.
No. I don't.
You do. You must, Vincent. You make their final moments terrifying. You force them to die alone and afraid.
They aren't alone. They share it with me. Why don't you see it?
It's just something you made up so you wouldn't feel like a monster. Look at these, Vincent. You did this. Tell me about the first one.
Sarah.
What did you say?
I said her name was Sarah.
Tell me about Sarah.
We had something real. And she didn't even care.
What did you do to Sarah?
She spoke to me first in the movie theater.
And we spent the entire day and most of the evening just talking. And after all of that, she laughed at me when I told her how I felt about her, called me
pathetic. But it was me that she shared her death with, not her boyfriend. Me. Our bond was real. For the first time, I felt really close to another human being. And after Sarah, I knew that I was one of the few who was able to really understand.
Vincent, you can't really believe that. You can't honestly think that you're some kind of
Do you want to hear
chosen
about the one on the left? You want to know about her? The one with the wire hanger twisted around her neck? Okay. I saw her playing outside in her front yard with her 2-year-old daughter. Followed her for a week. When the time came to take her, we did it slowly, in her own bed, with her daughter sleeping in the next room. I told her that if she made enough noise to wake up her daughter, that I would kill the kid, too. She actually died believing that I wouldn't hurt her little girl. It's disturbing exactly how gullible people can be, Detective. Take the most recent one, for example. About 3 weeks ago, I was at the gas station across the street from the 5th Precinct. I looked to my left, and there's this woman pumping her gas. She was exquisite, just beautiful. She had this dark hair. Reminded me of the woman in the car, as a matter of fact. I knew that she would be next. So I followed her. Found out where she lived, found out where she worked, found out her patterns and her husband's patterns. Even followed her husband to his Wednesday night dart league. And then one morning, I let myself into their house and went through her private things. And I knew that the time had come.
Vincent.
Well, Emily, I told you I'd give you 10 minutes. Did you really think you could connect with me and change my mind using that ridiculous police psychology? You have no idea how fun this became when I followed you to work and found out that you were a homicide detective. Don't you just love irony? What was that you called me? A common killer? We'll see. Best part about you being a cop is that I didn't even have to bring my own handcuffs or gun.
My husband's on his way home right now.
The look on your face when you walked in and saw me standing in your living room. I'll remember it forever. Put your hands behind your back.
No.
Put your hands behind your back. Video is so much more intimate than still pictures, don't you think, Emily? I think I'll make a copy of this and leave it for your husband.
My husband, he'll be home any minute. He's on his way.
No, he isn't. It's Wednesday. He won't be home till 11:30, which gives us plenty of time together. Look at me, Emily. Let me see your eyes.